to We Geek Podcast. Today is December 19th, 2018. We are on the cusp of a new year. We are in episode 156. My name is Adam, joined by my good friend Logan.
Hello.
What up, man? How's your week been?
The calm before the storm, basically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because
my week's been terrible, but I'm in a good mood, though.
Oh, well, there you go.
Trying to be. And when everything's falling apart, you gotta smile, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've had a crazy week. It's been super ups and downs. I imagine, dude, yeah, you're the calm before the storm, man. It's getting there with Christmas time, huh?
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, dude. I did see some movies though, so finally got out there, was able to see some movies. Saw Wreck-It Ralph with my friend and her kids. It was fun. You saw that too, right?
I did, yeah. I made a day of it the other day.
Oh yeah. We could definitely talk about that. My buddy, listener of the show, Ralph, got tickets to go see Aquaman. Somehow, I think he won them at a bar or something like that. And because is it out yet?
It comes out like tomorrow. Like I think preview showings are like on Wednesday this week. So I think instead of like Thursdays at 7, how everything usually opens, I think it's tomorrow at 7. I want to be wrong about that. Please let me be wrong about that. So I work tomorrow.
Yeah. It says Aquaman release date is the 21st. So that would be this Friday. So yeah, you're probably right, Thursday or whatnot.
Okay, God, I hope so.
Yeah, I guess it was a screening from the studio because it was very strict. No cell phones. It was one of those come first get seats. So like they must have turned people down because we were literally in the front row, like the last 5 people selected. So
wow.
Thankfully we got there in time. And guess who was in the audience? You'll never guess.
Braun Strowman.
No, and I just forgot his name. So hold on, give me just a. Oh, I had it written down. What is wrong with me? He's such a cool dude.
You'll never guess who's in the audience. Okay, who was it? I don't remember his name.
Oh, this is gonna bother me.
Who? Like,
oh man, he was from Police Academy. I just can't think of his name.
The guy, not the guy who makes the noises.
Michael Winslow. That's it.
Oh my God.
Yes, yeah, he was there. Everyone was taking a picture with this guy in his hat, and of course, he doesn't really look like what he did back in Police Academy. He's gotten a little bit older, we were looking at the back of it, but he had this like black hat with a feather in it, and you would think it's Frosty or something, because no one in Florida has a black top hat. And people were taking pictures with him, and we're like, who is this guy? We just saw the back of him, and then someone walked by, and they go, oh, yeah, that's Michael Winslow. And I was like, no shit. Why is he the Aquaman premiere in Orlando?
Well, because, why not?
Yeah, why not? Exactly. So I thought that was pretty neat. He was really cool. I didn't take a picture. A bunch of kids came up and took pictures, and I could tell he was ready to go. Yeah. But it was just cool to say, hi, man, I love your movies, and he was super, super nice. But, oh, yeah, I've literally Googled him. And he's in the same top hat in every one of the videos that pop up on Google for like YouTube.
Well, then that explains why he wears a top hat.
Yeah, exactly. So it was really cool. It was cool seeing him there. We'll talk about the movie just non-spoilery. I thought it was okay. It was one of the better DC movies, but man, it's the stuff in the water. Just I don't know.
Is it too effects heavy? Like, is it to the point where it's just
all effects in the water? So yeah,
That's
towards the end, you're like, okay, I'm just watching. Oh God, what was the movie? The one we saw earlier this year with the video game characters. My mind just totally went blank.
Ready Player One.
Yeah, it was totally Ready Player One at the end.
Yeah, and when that's not what it's supposed to be, that's a problem.
Well, there's no way they could have gotten out of this. I hope the next Aquaman movie is just not in the water. And I know that's like impossible, but I hope they figure something out, because as cool as all that is, I don't know, at least with Thor, and I get that's what they were going for. They were going for Thor of the DC universe, because that's exactly kind of what it was.
Yeah.
But at least with Thor, they're not swimming around. It's not just their face plastered on complete CGI. It's like they were walking around in a what looked like the Odin's whatever, and most of it was CGI, but it didn't look that ridiculous. But this is just constant CGI underwater, and they're constant kind of moving around, and the water's flowing, and they're somehow talking to each other, moving their mouths. it's I don't know. And I imagine this was their biggest fear. Like, how are we going to make this work? When you get the Blu-ray, that's one of the first things someone's going to say is, how do we make this work? And they make it work, but I still sat back and I'm like, this is silly. Like, I want to see. When he was out of the water, it was just to me so much better. It was like, anything they were doing outside of the water, I was just like, okay, this is the DC universe. But when you get in the water, it's just like, I don't know, fantasy land. It's just so different, I guess. I hope that's not spoily.
No, I mean, that's, you're not saying what happens. You're just like, hey, the water stuff looks like, and it's kind of what you would expect. Hearing that does not surprise me at all.
Right, and it's all big, epic action, blah, 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 but I don't know, there's something more about, like, when you see, for example, the Lord of the Rings films, and you see shots that are just completely CGI, it's still grounded. It looks gritty. It looks, there's some shots with them in the mud and stuff like that. They cut to close-ups, you know what I mean? And the metal is banging, and you see their face. This is just pure CGI when they're underwater, except for, like, their faces, however they do that with the cameras. So
yeah, that's no fun.
Yeah, and I just don't like the way Atlantis looks and all that other stuff. It's not. I don't know. It's just
from
Aquaman is. Go ahead.
From the people who said we're tired of dark and gritty, we want comic book aesthetic. Comes this needed to be a little more dark and gritty because it doesn't look right.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is this was a total reaction to that. You could tell there were just scene after scene where they made Jason Momoa more fun and, like, telling jokes and being a little bit more immature, and I kind of dug that. I think it's way better than doing, like, a serious Aquaman, because that's kind of silly. I'm glad that he was a character, and that he told stupid one-liners and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like I said, every scene of him above water, I was way more into. You see it in the trailer. You see them kind of, like, running around the rooftops and stuff like that, and wherever they were at, the Mediterranean or whatever. You see shots of him in a submarine. You see shots of, you see that shot of him with the armor and stuff. Like, all that looks great above water, but below water, I'm like, It's like they immediately just pull the duct tape off, and they're like, let's get freaking wild under here, which I'm sure kids will love, though. So I'm coming at it as like this is the complete opposite direction of, like, Man of Steel and stuff like that. So we need to find more of a center, I guess. But I did enjoy this. This wasn't Suicide Squad. This wasn't anything terrible. It was to me a solid B- C, if that makes sense. C+, B-. I enjoyed it. I really hope there's another one.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun.
Well, I mean, to be fair, that's better than they've been doing. So I think they would take that.
Exactly, yeah. You can tell he's grown from, especially, like, even, like, Justice League. I feel like he didn't do much in Justice League, and he was just kind of a side character. And even though Justice League, I was still a fanboy. I was still like, oh my god, we got Cyborg and all these other characters meshing off of each other, and there's cool shots in there. When you see comic book characters in the movie that you see in the trailer and stuff, but when you see them have their comic book costumes and stuff on, I'm sure people who don't know any of that stuff are like, this looks silly. But me, I'm like, all right, this person and this person and that person, when they look like their comic book character, I'm like, this is great. That's super nerdy.
I'm good with comic booky. Let it,
Yeah.
there is too much emphasis on these costumes don't look right in this day and age. They're freaking superheroes and supervillains. I don't care.
Exactly.
Like, we have gone beyond that by now, have we not? Like,
we have.
Hey, look, Atlantis is a thing, but we have to make sure somebody's suit doesn't look too ridiculous. And I'm pretty sure that was said in a production meeting, and somebody with a lick of sense went, okay, hang on. You do know you started that sentence with the phrase, Atlantis exists. Right.
Yeah, so exactly. Well, you remember the phrase? You're absolutely right. You remember one of the first posters they showed, and it just looks silly because you see all their comic book characters.
Yeah.
And you see like the fish people, and you see the crab people, and it's like straight up from, like, the South Park show, But and you see Manta, you see all of those characters. When it gets to that point, you're just like, oh, this is fun. These are ridiculous characters. I can't believe I'm seeing a live action version of this, and they went silly with it.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. And and even remember I was telling you little stupid things that bothered me the whole time, like how his hair's black and stuff. In the movie, he's got like blonde, almost like it was like the sun did it or something like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It wasn't as dark as what I've been seeing in like promotional stuff. Like there's straight up blonde streaks at the end of his hair. So I was like, okay, they're kind of doing it. Because that was one character in DC where it was like he's just straight dead blonde. And that always kind of made me feel weird when I just saw the complete black hair everywhere.
Yeah.
But even little silly things like that, I went and I was like, oh, this is okay. I didn't realize it, but maybe I did, because I thought, okay, so did I say on the show that Jango Fett's his dad?
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah, I guess I forgot it and remembered it again, because I was like, oh shit, it's Jango Fett. But all that stuff was cool. I liked it. Go see it. If you're into comic books, you gotta go see this movie. I imagine Spider-Verse was probably way better, though. That was a movie I wanted to see this weekend, but I didn't get a chance. 2 is pushing it for me. But man, goddamn, I really want to see Spider-Verse. How was it?
Go see the movie.
God, yeah, see, that's what I know.
I'll say this and I'll leave it at this. It is so perfectly balanced the way that, because, they have to introduce all these new and strange spider people. They found the perfect way to do it. And if I'm going to rank Spider-Man films, it's going to take a lot to knock Homecoming off the top.
Yeah.
It really is. Spider-Man 2 was my second favorite. And then I saw Spider-Verse.
Yeah. I mean, but a lot of people are saying this is the best one. I mean, even IGN has it ranked best. Like,
it's really hard to argue that. It is.
Yeah.
For me, it's personal. I love Homecoming more. I connect with it more. But damn, Spider-Verse is a phenomenal movie. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't just mean for a superhero movie. I mean all around. It is a damn good movie.
Well, I think they were able to do more risks because it's animated.
Exactly. And it paid off. It totally pays off.
And I think that's great, yeah, because when at first they showed the trailer, we got excited because it's Miles, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people didn't really, they're like, okay, Miles, that's cool. It's going to have 2 spider characters. But then once they showed Gwen, and then they showed Spider-Ham, and then they showed the Noir, and then all of a sudden you got the tech Spider-Man girl, and like it was all these different characters, and you're like, holy shit, they're literally doing Spider-Verse. I want to see that.
And it's, I'll tell you what I was not really expecting, but I'm so glad they did.
Yeah.
It's an emotional movie. Like,
really?
they don't pull, it's not like the happiest of films.
Well, see, and I don't want to spoil or anything, but when I was watching some of the like clips or whatever that they've been showing, where Peter Parker is in his life was not what I was expecting from the trailers.
No, it's very much not, and
I thought that was cool. I thought that's an awesome take.
Yeah, it's so good to see, because they're all, even Miles, like, this isn't the ultimate universe. It's close, but it's not quite, because his Peter Parker has been around for longer than the Peter Parker in the Ultimate Universe.
Gotcha. Okay, so gotcha.
But it's so good, and it's, like I said, it's so well balanced, because you're like, I don't know these characters. I need to feel something for them, and oh god, I really love when they introduce Spider-Man Noir. It's so damn funny. It's so good. But go see the movie. It's fantastic. It really is.
Yeah.
And stick around for the end, because it's just the scene at the end is purely there for comedy. There's no other reason for it, but it's great.
Oh, good.
It's
that's good.
It's more multiverse stuff, but it's done. It's literally just for comedy. But
have you been reading any of the Spider-Geddon stuff?
I haven't.
Okay.
Which I know I've actually been going back and restarting from Brand New Day.
Oh wow! See, I'm glad you said that. I've actually, we've talked about the last few episodes. I've been really doing nothing but reading comics, because that's what I can afford right now. Doing the Marvel app. And man, as soon as you said the stuff about Miss Marvel, or Captain Marvel. I've gone back and I read like the first 6 issues of that run where she came back. You know, she had the new suit and stuff.
Yeah.
I went back and I've read maybe 23 issues of Amazing Spider-Man, the Dan Slott stuff.
Starting with was it like 435 or something when Brand New Day starts?
It wasn't Brand New Day. That's not where I started. I probably should go back and read that. It was catching up with everything that I read.
Okay. Yeah, that's where you want to start because that was the start of Slott's run, and it's a great jumping on point because it is kind of a reset. For as much crap as One More Day and all that stuff gets, where Peter was, and with Aunt May dying, and he was outed during Civil War, and he was married to MJ and all this, where do you go from there? It needed to be wiped clean. It did. And so I try not to give One More Day as much crap as it gets, because they were just in a tough spot. And they did it to themselves, to be fair, but the way that the way they rebounded when Slott came on with Brand New Day and builds from there, I had forgotten how much of that stuff is in his first couple issues that doesn't really get paid off for years down the road.
Oh yeah, and I also went back and I read Spider-Geddon. I'm sorry, Spider-Verse. No, I'm sorry. Oh, hold on. There's too many Spider-Mans. I read Spider Island.
Okay, yeah. Oh, Spider Island's great.
It's such a fun read, and at the end, when like he tells people he's Peter Parker, and Doctor Strange is like, "Oh, you let the cat out of the bag," and he's like, "Well, no, I really didn't because everyone was Spider people." He was like, "Yeah, but you went on TV as a Spider-Man." You said it as you with everyone else or whatever, and some people knew. Man, it's such a good read. Have you read any of the recent stuff?
No, I haven't read anything after 801. Like I haven't read
Black Widow. Oh, okay.
No, I
want to tell you something, but it'd be a spoiler.
Then don't tell me. I will get to it. It's gonna take me a while.
There's stuff in there with Black Widow that goes all the way back to A New Day. That's all I'll say.
Nice. I like that. I like when they're not afraid to do callbacks. When Slott did the clone conspiracy, and they tied it all the way back, and I thought that's going back and calling up the clone saga is a risky choice, but damn if they didn't find a way to make it pay off in ways that we will see for years.
Oh yeah, they definitely made it pay off. And yeah, I completely agree. And I think the Spider-Man books are best when it's just Peter Parker being Peter Parker and having Peter Parker conversations, especially with the women in his life. That's when I relate to him the most.
Yeah, I get when we had Parker Industries and everything because they had to do something different, but they set that up just to show how it couldn't work for him.
Right.
He has to be what he's always been. And I love that they made it a point to do this so they could show that you can't do this.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great way to shut a lot of people up, and they told some really great stories with it too.
Yeah. So the back to the Spider-Man stuff, man. And we were talking about how the industries and whatnot, you're right, they had to do that because now when it's kind of gone back to him just being Peter Parker and having a roommate and figuring things out and the women in his life and stuff, man, those conversations he has, like I said, then I won't spoil anything, but there's just a point where he's talking to these people. I'm just like, oh shit, like I can't wait to see what happens moving forward.
Nice.
I think I'm excited to see Into the Spider-Verse, which I'll see at some point, and unfortunately probably after Christmas, just because of how busy I am and the costs and everything else. The AMC pass is looking more and more. I need to get that. It would just make things so much easier. But yeah, man. So that's just the tip of the iceberg, dude. I went back and read Infinite Crisis.
Oh yeah, because of we'll talk about that.
I went back and read The Green Lantern Rebirth when Hal Jordan came back.
Well, that was good because that was wasn't that when Johns came on?
That's when Johns came on.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and then I started to get a little bit into the Sinestro War. I kind of want to do the Rebirth, and then I want to get into back into Sinestro War and Blackest Day. I read parts of it not too long ago, but I kind of want to go through the whole thing. But yeah. So I went back and and one big thing. Have you ever read 52, where it was the 52 weeks?
I've read bits and pieces. This was
Same
because
here.
this was like after the Trinity had like disappeared or something. So every comic was a week between crises or something.
Yes, this happened directly after Infinite Crisis. That's why I jumped into it, because I read the Infinite Crisis. At the end of it, they're like, "Hey, let's peace out for a year," and this is where people like Booster Gold pick up the weight. And this is where his character really starts to shine, because right now, King is making him such a popular character with this Heroes in Crisis, which you should definitely read. It's crazy. Because we've talked about before, Heroes in Crisis, and like the heroes with the post-traumatic stress disorder trying to handle it on their own.
Yeah.
And shit goes bad, and I think that's kind of the message, is like, hey, you need like professional help if you have PTSD, because handling on your own can get someone killed, essentially. Which is a good message, but it's kind of weird they're putting in with comic book characters. Anyway, the Booster Gold stuff from it is just so good.
Nice.
And that's what made me go back to read that, dude. I've been all over the place. Where was I? I've caught up with Uncanny X-Men. I'm excited because now they announced that Wolverine so Wolverine Logan from the 616 is back as Wolverine Logan from the 616. They haven't really made him Logan yet. He still like doesn't remember shit. Cyclops is still dead, but somehow in a few months they're gonna have a book together, leading a team as the X-Men, as the Uncanny X-Men.
So back to how it ought to be, arguably.
Yes, exactly. It's Marvel going, here's your X-Men toys back. And I don't know if Professor X is back as well, but Jean Grey's alive. Like they have their characters right now. There's not too many that are dead or gone. I don't know what they're gonna do with the ones that they brought through time and all that other crazy stuff. But
didn't they bring a version of Professor X back? Like, isn't he in somebody's body or something?
Professor X, man, I see. There's too much X-Men to catch up with. I don't mind jumping into like some Green Lantern, some Thor, some Spider-Man, because it's like I can get a little bit, get out.
Yeah,
X-Men is just too much. There's just there's way too much going on. Professor X, he's in what was it? It was X-Men Prime or X-Men. I forget which one it was, but he's in someone's mind.
Yeah,
he's like. I don't know. I don't really know. I need to read that one because I don't think he has like a human form yet. He's not alive. He's alive somewhere in like the Timescape or Mindscape or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. There's just too much. But yeah, I don't know. I caught up with Doomsday Clock. I don't know if we talked about that.
A little bit.
Yeah. Where like. That is getting so good because it's basically Superman stuck between doing the right thing and doing I don't know. It's very Watchmen. Like it's like he has to make a call, and Batman's like, don't make a call, don't align yourself with anyone, even if it thinks it's the right thing right now, because it could make you look terrible, and it does. It goes really bad, and we're right there seeing Mr. Manhattan. Or Dr. Manhattan. So, I don't know. Astonishing X-Men, I think, is the one I was thinking of.
Okay.
But anyway, we'll get back to comics later. We kind of spilled over with all that right now. Just got excited because that's all I've been really reading. But yeah, dude. Let's kind of get back. Let's get back to the movies and what we're talking about. How did Spider-Verse do this weekend?
Spider-Verse didn't do too bad. They were thinking between 30 and 40, and it landed at 35.
Oh, okay.
So not bad. It's decent, and it'll stay fairly strong through Christmas. It'll drop just because there's so freaking much coming out this week, and we'll talk about that in a second.
Oh yeah.
But it didn't do too bad. The Mule did pretty well because old people needed a movie to see, and they haven't seen one in a while. And I'm telling you, if it's your parents or your grandparents who are really old going to the movies, don't buy them popcorn because they leave it.
Oh no!
Oh my god, it's worse than kids. It's almost worse than kids. It's terrible. it's awful. They're a terrible crowd, and there's a lot of overlap with other kinds of crowds that are just notorious for just leaving horrible auditoriums. I cleaned up after like 30. There were like 30 people in Spider-Verse, and there was and I mean it was almost clean. There were a dozen people in the Mule, and how long it took me to clean it ran over almost to the pre-show for the next one.
Oh wow, like, so that's crazy. You would think elderly people, they come from a time where you eat something, you put it away, you clean off the table. At least that's how it is like in my family and stuff. I mean, it's younger people that are like, well, who cares? You know what I mean? Like
that was what I would kind of think too, but apparently not.
Yeah, that's nuts.
But anyway, speaking of unruly children, The Grinch did almost 12 million this weekend.
Yeah.
The Grinch actually didn't fall as far as Ralph did. Ralph dropped below The Grinch this week. Wow. Little over 9.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, dude. What did you think of it?
I liked Wreck-It Ralph. Or Ralph 2, or whatever the hell you want to call it. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. It was a lot deeper than I was expecting.
Yes.
I really didn't think they were going to have quite as many allegories in there as they had.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Oh shit, a good message in a kids movie?
Yeah, right?
Really good.
What are the odds?
And it's not the typical like kids stuff. It was really good.
It's a little more mature, and I don't mean that in some kind of bad way. It's still, it's still a kids Disney movie. But
right. It wasn't like, do the right thing no matter what, like typical kind of. It was like, oh, wow, this is good.
It was a growing up movie.
Yeah,
and it wasn't. And what's great is it wasn't done in like a ham-fisted way. Mm-hmm. It didn't clobber you over the head with this message of like you were saying, like, be a good person always and do these things. Oh, yeah. It was nuanced, and it was a little tough.
Yeah. And my favorite guy was the one who was like the play video games for money online.
Oh, what was he? Spammy? Something like that.
He was like, well, where can we get this? Blah blah blah. And he was like, who's asking? Like, it's just so funny, that guy.
It's like, there's a street hustler. All right, I got you.
Yeah, that was my favorite guy.
There was one line. What did she say? We don't know. She's from the other studio. Oh my god, that killed me. I was glad there was nobody in there, because I went to like the noon show on a Monday for that. I was the only one in the theater, and I died laughing. That was too funny for me.
Oh yeah. See, I missed that part. I saw it in the trailer though. I had to go take one of the kids to the bathroom. But yeah, I right during that scene, I was like, oh no, this is the best part. Oh, well,
such a good scene.
I'm sure I'll see it later. But I pretty much saw most of that scene in the trailer anyway.
You'd think, but not entirely.
Oh no, yeah. I'll see more. But yeah, man, I thought it was great. I thought it was a good movie. One of the better Disney. Yeah, it's one of those new ones. So all the new ones have been pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty on point. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. What else came out? Did anything else come out?
Mortal Engines, which bombed, and I mean spectacularly.
Yeah, it just didn't look interesting.
But they were counting on, like, it's a huge thing, and it's giant, and it's epic, and that's why we got Peter Jackson, because remember, he did Lord of the Rings, and so now he's doing another big epic thing, because they completely forgot that nobody's asking for a Mortal Engines movie.
No.
But when they announce, and there aren't, and I say this with love and respect for authors in a genre that I keep telling myself one day I'm going to write something for. We'll see how well that works. There just wasn't that kind of interest to take.
I've never heard of it until
it came out in. I think the first one came out in like 2000. It's newer-ish.
Yeah,
it's really interesting and it's really intriguing. And I liked the way the movie looked like it tweaked things a little bit, because the movie makes it look. The trailers are all like, this is the main character and she's a badass. In the book, she's not really the main character, but she should be. It's a weird kind of thing of like, it's written kind of centered around this other dude, but she has the motivation and takes the initiative, and it should be her story. So I like that they did that in the marketing, at least to make it look like, oh, I think maybe they've done this right. But it's an interesting concept. You know, the first teaser where they're on their little town driving away and you see London come over the hill, it's like, well, okay, that's a thing, and it gets your attention. But
I mean, I don't know, but if I'll be honest, nothing about it, even the first trailer, looked anything interesting. Because I was like, so there's big cities on wheels.
Yeah.
That doesn't pull me in.
That's fair. That's fair. And you know, like I said, I mean, like, I haven't seen it because I wasn't clamoring for it.
I can't tell you anything else about it.
Yeah.
Just there's big cities on wheels, and that they have CGI fights. That's literally all they show. And there's nothing that it was like, okay, what's going on?
There was just not, and it's, you know, they keep looking for the next big thing, the next Hunger Games, the next Twilight, the next Harry Potter, because that's what it's all been. It's been Harry Potter, and then what are we going to have next from that? They tried Percy Jackson, and they screwed that up royally. Don't even get me started. So it became Twilight, and that was the next huge thing. What's going to be next Twilight? Well, they tried Mortal Instruments, and they tried Beautiful Creatures, and they tried all kinds of stuff. And, well, I'll get to that in a second, because it became Hunger Games. And then it was like, okay, well, what's the next Hunger Games? And so they tried Divergent, and that almost worked. That was almost. And then, but when it fell apart, it just fell apart.
Yeah.
And so then they did the Maze Runner, and it did okay, but it didn't have the big oomph that they were looking for. So now they're trying Mortal Engines, and they gambled big on this. You could tell just by the trailers, like, this is an epic, huge thing, and it's not going to pay off. They are going to lose an absolute safe load of money on this, and it's going to hurt, and it's going to suck.
That sucks, because you want those kind of genre of films. We want to keep going, and
so I
be careful next time.
Yeah. So I don't know what the next of these is going to be. I don't even know if this is one of those that you could say, like, oh, it'll work better as a TV series. Because, I mean, we saw that with Mortal Instruments. They turned it into Shadowhunters on Freeform, and it did much better as a series. I don't know if this translates. I'm sure there are people that could write it in a way that absolutely does, but I don't know. And again, it's big set pieces. Like, it's the kind of thing that is going to cost a lot of money. So I don't know. But again, you know, Amazon's spending like $500 million on a Lord of the Rings series. So what do I know?
Yeah, I think they should get Peter Jackson in that.
Yeah, well, isn't like he a producer or something on it?
I think he is.
I think he's kind of attached, and it might just be kind of an in-name only sort of thing of like, well, you know, we call him every once in a while because there's
put him on it, man. He did a great job with Lord of the Rings.
I don't know.
Go back to the well.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair enough. But I don't know.
Put Vince McMahon back in the ring.
Oh, God.
Let's get it out there.
Make the people the authority, damn it.
Give the people what they want while we do the same thing for 3 hours.
I'll tell you what, though, man, that last hour was worth it because that was badass. The fact that match took an hour was awesome.
That was great.
I'll give him that.
That was great.
Everything up till that was, it was like, oh, it's more of the same. It's exactly more of the same.
We're going to give you something new that you did never seen before, except we're going to start with a thing that happened, the exact same thing last night.
Yes, exactly.
In case you didn't pay for our network.
Oh, man. That was like... But first, we have to have Corbin come out and give a promo and say, do you want to give these people what we want? And commercial. Like,
exactly.
Oh my God, that was so magnificent.
Oh, yeah. And here's the thing, though. The ending of TLC is giving people what they want.
Mm-hmm.
I hope the ending of whatever the next pay-per-view is what's giving people what they want.
Well,
because Braun Strowman deserves it.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure next is the Rumble.
Yeah, it needs to be the Rumble. The Braun needs to get the championship. We need to have, like, Becky win the the battle royale. Maybe some surprises because that's what we want, but we also still want to be surprised. Give us 2 out of 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, here's the thing. You ask about like last year's Royal Rumble, just the men's Rumble. What? And this is why you need a good surprise nostalgia act every once in a while. They don't have to do anything, but what do people remember from last year's Royal Rumble? Nakamura won. He threw out Roman Reigns to do it, and the Hurricane showed up.
Yeah.
That's all really that people remember about last year's Rumble. Now,
no, Asuka won.
Well, I mean, for the men's Rumble.
Oh, for the men's Rumble, you're right.
For the women's Rumble, you know.
You're absolutely right. For the Rumble itself, for the men's Rumble, yes, that was. I liked the ending. I liked Nakamura winning. I liked they teased that Roman got everyone so angry.
Yeah.
That was great. But you're absolutely right. They need surprises. Like, and I'm not saying like I don't want Kevin Nash to come back down again.
I kind of do just because he's in on the joke.
Yeah, I guess Kevin Nash, but like, for example, I don't know, Velvet Dream needs to come out.
Oh, they may call up the Dream, already.
Well, that was the other thing. They're like, and we're gonna have new people on the show over the next few weeks. Let's tell you every single one of their names right now.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I did not like that. Like, I mean,
tease new people, but don't tell us who it is.
Yeah, I mean, Nikki Cross was a foregone conclusion. That's something people have been clamoring for a while now. Lacey Evans is an interesting choice. I like that. Heavy Machinery, okay. I mean, they're not really doing anything in NXT, so you might as well. And then, of course, I mean, they
don't do anything for me anymore. I liked the Enzo and Big Cass when they came out because that was crazy. That was new. They were good on the mic, and then all of that went to fucking hell.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I mean, New Day's great, but everything else is like, all right. Everything on NXT is great, but when they come to the main roster, and that's the other thing. How they're bringing 6 new people? That's not going to fix your show. You don't even have time for people like Nakamura.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with it? It's kind of like a lot of these people in NXT. It's like I'm kind of glad they're staying there because we're going to still see the Velvet Dream and stuff like that.
I'm telling you, man, that's why. Oh, and EC3 was the other one, and that's
EC3. Yeah.
I imagine he's going to get pushed to the moon because he has the look. He does.
Yeah.
And he's good in the ring. His mic work, it could be better.
We're still in that weird 6 years of it being Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
And finally they give it to Roman Reigns. How long is it going to take for these guys to get it? Braun is at the cusp, and he won't get it. I feel
he won't. I'll guarantee you, he doesn't. It's gonna be Rollins. It'll be Rollins winning the Rumble, and it'll be Rollins Lesnar at Mania.
And see, do you think they're still going to do that now that everyone booed Rollins and Dean out of the building?
The reason they booed him was because it came right after the Bryan Styles match.
That's not how Vince McMahon thinks. He sees them booing at them two, and he's like, well, we need to rework this.
Yeah, tell that to Roman Reigns.
I agree.
But I think he's more likely to do that with them because they're smaller guys and not, they don't fit the mold. But, there's no Braun, so what are you going to do?
What I figured is Braun would get the championship, and then he'd go against, what's that other guy? The guy that was with, oh my God.
Drew, you're looking for.
Drew, yes, yeah, because they've been pushing him like crazy.
That's a program I want to see. And I'll tell you what, I would be okay with Drew Lesnar at Mania. Just so long as Lesnar loses the damn title.
No, not Lesnar. I want it to be Braun and Drew.
It's not because they're not going to.
I want Braun because I want someone there to be every week.
Well, yeah, but that's what'll happen after WrestleMania. I guarantee that Braun won't win at the Rumble just because he's also not going to retain at WrestleMania because there's nobody new.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. I think he'll win it and then lose it at Mania.
Nah, but then it makes him look weak. He loses to the first guy who steps up. Yeah, it does.
But there's still a few pay-per-views between the two, right? Or no?
There's one.
Okay.
Or
but
two. I don't know.
You're right. They did that with what, Bray Wyatt?
Yeah, where he had it for a month, and he won it at Elimination Chamber, and then he lost it to Randy Orton, right?
Yeah. Where's he been?
On Twitter saying goodbye.
Oh, is he okay?
I hope so.
I just googled him. Something weird is happening on Bray.
And that's weird because you read the tweets, and if they didn't come from somebody who had a history of weird tweets,
it does sound like a cry for help.
Yeah, but so I mean, it could go either way. Who knows? I'm almost hoping like this is teasing like a Reverend Bray.
Yeah,
Like
that'd be cool.
if he's gonna come back as like a super like evangelical type kind of character.
But he wasn't. He was though, kind of. Well, just it was for him.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. Flip it and have it go the other way. Of like I had.
The thing is, oh, go ahead.
It just that thing of like I had the right intention, but I had the wrong. I thought I was the god and blah blah blah. But he, just at least give him something he can dig into. Because when Bray was allowed to really be Bray, he was creepy and spooky, and you bought it. You couldn't understand anything he meant at all, but you didn't care because it oozed charisma.
Right. And that's the thing is, there's nothing wrong with his character, it's just what they've done with it.
Yeah, and I almost think that like they've gone to the point where nobody's gonna take that character seriously as a threat anymore.
Yeah, they turned him into Scott Summers instead of, when they just take a character and they're like, we're gonna put him out of the toy box for a year and have him play with like weird stuff.
Yeah,
like they could have taken that character and done so much more with it, and it sucks. But you're right. I do hope he comes back, and I hope it's different. I honestly thought he'd come back with all this Braun stuff because it's like Braun needs help. When Braun was like, "Hey, I didn't come alone," I was like, "Oh, if Bray comes out and breaks this guy's face, that would be awesome."
Well, he's not the hashtag facebreaker, but
it's true.
Neither is Nia anymore. The way that she got punked out, but
yeah.
But the problem with that is that Bray was the leader in the Wyatt family, so to have him come out to work for Braun just doesn't like that.
Not for Braun, but to be like, hey, I still got your back. Like because they keep teasing this. They're not teasing, but how many Shield fights have we had since they broke up? Like it just seems like every other week it's Shield member versus Shield member versus Shield member, or they're teaming or they're whatever.
Right.
There's no Wyatt stuff. Like, were we supposed to forget that they existed?
Yeah, probably.
Like, and that sucks. Like there should, Max Landis, when he said he worked for WWE, one of the things that he tried to push was he wanted people to interfere with each other's matches. He wanted it to be kind of like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where Daredevil shows up here and Spider-Man shows up here, and it all kind of blends together, that they don't just come out for their segment, because it doesn't make sense that they just stay in the back, that they should interfere with each other's shit in different storylines, like completely different storylines. There should be some crossover. And those where the surprise things happen. Those are where the rock sock connection happens. You know what I mean? Like those are where there's weird relationships and things form, and we get to see those random things. But if we see the same two people that we've seen the last 6 weeks fight each other in the same matches, it's stupid.
I hear you.
Yeah, like have Bray come out and be like, you know what, fuck you. Like we used to be boys. I can come out and save him. And then next week he goes back and does his own thing. But it's like they're still boys, and that would be cool. That's what they should have done with Shield. They should have had them every once in a while interfere with each other's matches.
Well, that is what they did when they got back together, and people kind of rebelled against that, because remember when you had Roman and Braun for that time before Roman had to leave. And the Shield came out to have his back.
Yeah, and see, I liked that, even though I didn't like Braun not winning, but I liked that. I thought that made sense. They wouldn't just stay in the back and be, that doesn't make sense in that universe.
Exactly. No, I totally understand, and I think that's a perfect example of it. But
it's like when Spider-Man. Oh man, this is gonna get a little tangent. Another one I read was The Other.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Ooh, okay.
Terrible. It's terrible. And so it's like when Spider-Man's fighting this dude, because obviously that book has a lot to do with what happens in Spider-Verse and stuff. But when he's fighting that guy, it's like, where's everyone else? Where's Captain America? Where's the Avengers?
Yeah.
If the Avengers were there, the other would have happened. Like it would never gotten that far, and it's just. That's a whole other tangent, but you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, and I'm right there with you. I think it does make sense, but I don't know.
Yeah. But anyway, sorry. But yeah, anyway, it's spoilers for TLC. I liked the ending to that. I thought the last match just was the best thing on the show.
The match was crazy. Oh my god! I don't know how Charlotte got up from that table spot.
I don't know. Yeah, she was screaming. I thought she was legit hurt.
So did I. I would have been.
Like, she sold it well.
Like, are you kidding? I did. God.
God. Oh God. I was like, yes, that's.
And I imagine that probably did really hurt. Because I mean, Becky bounced. I mean, they did not go through that table. Becky bounced off of her. Like, that was just craziness.
Oh yeah. It was good. It was definitely good. But yeah, there's just so many crazy spots, and they sold it well. And I don't think Becky needs it. They're putting her and Charlotte in a great place for Ronda and that whole spiel. Yeah, I was hoping they were actually going to shake things up this week and move people.
Nah, not this close to the Rumble or Mania. There will probably be some sort of shakeup or draft after Mania this time around. I thought they were going to do it last year, but I guess they decided not to do one every year, which is fine. But I think that this year after Mania there needs to be something. Yeah. I'm okay with not shaking stuff up right now, because you have some things that are established, and if you if you change some things but not others, it does seem a little like people get it, but also it looks kind of like you're placing value on, we can't break this feud up because it's way more important than this feud, and it's just kind of like, well, then where do you draw the line and why? But after WrestleMania, there's always like that kind of reset of like, this is a new year kind of deal. So that's I'm good with that,
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited because it was, I didn't watch like the past 3 or 4 weeks because it just, after the first 2 episodes from the last pay-per-view, I was like, this is stupid. I can't watch any of this.
You didn't miss anything.
Gone. Braun is gone.
It was all the same. It was.
Yeah, it was terrible.
It was a great moment, though, that they could have done to build up other people, to establish new people who could stand up, who could get up in that place. And when they started, like, we're going to push Apollo Crews because he's going to show up. And I was like, thank God. Like, he's somebody new. And then they haven't really. So
it's like 52 after Infinity War.
Yeah, basically.
Not Infinity War, Jesus.
Infinite Crisis.
Infinite Crisis.
I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. We're crossing too many streams there. But yeah, exactly. It's when, like, hey, the big guys are out. Let's have the people who haven't been able to shine. And that's kind of what happened with Becky Lynch.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, she wasn't able to shine. Then when she did, it's like, oh wow, that's bright.
Yeah, no kidding. There's did you see the Chronicle they did?
I didn't know. I heard it was good.
Oh, it's so good. Like it was one of those things. I watched that and then I had to go to my theater job, and like I just busted my ass all night, and everybody. It was one of those weird times of people actually saying, like, dude, you're really working hard tonight. Because we were just kind of not busy. Yeah. But, so it stuck out. And I was like, well, you know why I'm working this hard? They're like, no, why? I was like, because I'm the man. I was like, because that's part of what's in her chronicle, is that it's not about being a man, it's about being the man. And I forget exactly what it is she said. She's like the guy in the mailroom, he can be the man. The girl doing I can't remember the other job, but it was just saying, she could be the man. It's just like, whatever you do, just go be the man. I was like, well, damn, all right. Yeah. The man has spoken. So
I gotta see this.
It's good. It's really good. It's only like 24 minutes, 25 minutes.
Okay.
It's actually, I think it's even up on their YouTube channel.
It's on YouTube. Yeah, that's where I saw it pop up. I didn't. I just been busy doing other stupid shit. It's comics and stuff.
Yeah, it's absolutely worth the watch.
Yeah, I want to see it. But yeah, man. So that's been wrestling. Shove it to the beginning of our show. Well, now we're kind of in the middle, but yeah. But yeah, man. It was good. I liked TLC. I liked Raw and what I saw SmackDown. Did you see any of SmackDown?
I didn't watch it tonight. No, I've been. I watched. What did I watch? Bad Times at the El Royale.
Oh, okay. How was that?
I really liked it. It's a fairly, like, it's weird. There's not a tremendous amount of point to it, but I don't mean that in a bad way. It's really just kind of all these people happen to show up in one place, and they're not connected, and craziness ensues, but it's like the best way I can describe this, and it's gonna sound like a knock, but it's not. It's a Tarantino light kind of film.
Oh, gotcha.
It's like somebody said, we need to make a Tarantino film, but not quite. Okay. And so that's what they did. I liked it.
That's cool.
There are some pacing issues that I have with it, but not enough to not recommend it. It's like it's not quite 2.5 hours, so it's a little long, but it does kind of bump along, especially once things start to happen.
Yeah.
It feels a lot quicker. Like the first act does drag a little, and that's really where my problem is. But once things start to happen, and then once the real craziness kicks in, then it's like the third act is tense. Like the whole thing is tense. That was done really well.
Okay.
But it's good. It's definitely worth checking out. Yeah, it's out digitally.
Okay.
So it's worth a watch. It's definitely worth a watch.
I'm sure they'll come to Amazon or Netflix at some point.
It'll probably be on Amazon, I imagine.
Amazon, yeah.
They've been picking up a lot of that kind of stuff. That's why I watched the Magnificent Seven, the newer version.
Oh yeah. I saw Gringo on there.
Well, because that was Amazon Studios. That was their movie.
Right.
But,
yeah. We talked about that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of recent movies. That was one of them. One quick thing, one funny thing, and you don't know about this, but okay, so one thing I'll spoil about SmackDown: Paige is not the general manager anymore.
Well, that was a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, and today, like she posted, my day is going to be explained in strictly office memes. So here you go.
Oh boy. Okay. Well then, I have to. Is that on her Instagram story?
Her Twitter. And
okay.
It's just Michael Scott panicking. It's just Michael Scott panicking, and they never explain what she does now. They're like, yeah, she's not the general manager. They brought her out in front of everybody, in front of the whole team, and they're like, we want to thank you, Paige, for all the stuff you put into it. And Shane McMahon quickly was like, she's not leaving, she's not gone. We just want to thank her. That's all.
Sure. Okay.
And then they cut, and I was like, okay, what are they gonna do with her? I hope she does commentary.
I don't know about that.
I always liked her on commentary. I thought she was quick and funny.
I mean, there are definitely worse choices.
Was it really that bad? I can't think of a time where she was terrible when she was on the mic.
She's just not like it's not going to be like Renee is.
Yeah, I don't know. I like there's certain people that I love on it, like Charlotte. I wish she could do both. I wish she could, like Macho Man. I wish she was a wrestler and she did commentary, because she has the funniest little quick things that she throws back at somebody. Same with Alexa. Bliss is great on the mic.
She was she was really good. She was definitely good.
Oh yeah. And I never thought Paige was too bad. She's a little awkward, but that's it. Yeah. That's her character, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I thought her Twitter was funny because she's like, yeah. So anyway, where were we? Okay, so yeah, let's get into what's coming out next week. We talked about Aquaman.
God damn, everything's coming out next week. Yeah, this week, next week, for eternity. I'm gonna be. Oh God. Okay, yeah. So, and I don't know how many of these are gonna be like ultra wide. Like everywhere. Because like second act, I don't know if that's gonna be playing every place. Vice is probably gonna be a fairly wide release, like 1,000, 1,200 screens maybe, and then at some point next year they might widen it. Like after New Year's, they may decide to go wider with it. If they don't pull it. Because it's definitely one that's like, oh, hey, this is, definitely just, this is the American hustle for this year. That's the way that I see it.
Okay.
Just because it seems to have that kind of feel and marketing to it, like that's how they're pushing it.
Okay.
Welcome to Morrowind is another one that I think is going to get a wider release just because it's, help me out here. Directed by, is it Zemeckis that's directing this? No, it's yes. Who in the hell is directing Welcome to Morrowind?
Oh yeah, it's Zemeckis.
It's Zemeckis. I thought it was Zemeckis. So I think that's gonna get a lot of play, and it looks really good. The more because when I saw the poster, I was like, what is this? And then I saw the trailer and I thought, you know what, this is adorable. Like this is just a good, heartwarming movie. It's just gonna be exactly what it looks like, and I'm totally good with that. We're going to get Holmes and Watson is one that actually isn't having a huge release. It's not because of what it's up against. It's also not going to be doing in a lot of places like the night before showings. Holmes and Watson in a lot of places is just going to come out on Christmas. It's not going to come out the day before. And I'm not excited for this one. I'm not. But, you know, that's me. I'm the weird one, I guess. But,
the Holmes and Watson, I mean, it's if you're into those kind of films, it looks like one of those kind of films.
Exactly. Like, if that's...
Yeah. Braun Strowman's in it.
I saw that advertisement on USA like 12 times the other night.
Yeah. I like that he's in it.
It's but
it looks like one of those kind of... It looks like Talladega Nights with the Holmes and Watson coat. The Sherlock Holmes coat.
Yeah, basically.
They take a selfie in it.
Yeah, that's... Oh, man. But on the brighter side of things, we have Mary Poppins Returns. I don't know why I put an apostrophe in that in the notes here. God, what time did I type these? And that's been getting decent reviews. Like, all the big stuff that's coming out is getting kind of the same sort of reviews, like 7s and 8s around there. Which is good, you know. I'm a little bummed that nothing's going to be awesome, but I think Aquaman is tracking fairly big. I'll work on pulling up the tracking numbers here in a bit. But, Mary Poppins Returns. Bumblebee, of course.
How big do you think Mary Poppins is going to get?
I don't think Mary Poppins is going to be huge, but I think I don't know. I was going to say, but it might have staying power, but I don't know, given I could say the same thing about Bumblebee and Aquaman, though. You know, they're going to have staying power. I don't know. I think Mary Poppins Returns will, percentage-wise, I'll say it this way, have a better run than Aquaman and Bumblebee, but I think Aquaman and or Bumblebee are both going to, from a pure dollars and cents standpoint, have a better run. You know what I mean? Like, Aquaman and Bumblebee are going to open huge, and then they're going to fall off fairly quickly, where Mary Poppins Returns will open decent, and then just kind of not really fall off. But, you know, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not going to do crazy big numbers. It's not going to be like Jumanji or The Greatest Showman. Yeah. But in terms of how much overall it makes, but it's going to be like that in terms of just how long it stays around, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of parents are going to take their kids.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's, yeah. That's of everything that's coming out, that's the one I'm least looking forward to cleaning.
Exactly.
Because kids. Of course, Bumblebee with John Cena, who tries to be funny in the newest trailer in the most obvious way possible, and it was kind of... I admit it was funny. I'm just amazed. Did you see that spot?
No, I haven't.
It's another piece of the scene where, like, he's testifying in front of a committee or something, where he's like, I've seen what these things can do, or whatever. No. There's a trailer that has another scene in it from that same sequence, where he's sitting there staring at whoever, and he goes, I mean, they call themselves Decepticons. That should have been a red flag right there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, that's okay. That's funny. I'm okay with that. All right. And then, you know, Aquaman. Like, that's gonna win Christmas at the box office. There's no question. I don't even think there's gonna be a fight for second. I think it'll be Aquaman, Bumblebee, Mary Poppins. The rest of it, good luck. I don't know, but I think that's gonna be your top 3. You know, good luck to everybody else involved.
Yeah.
I think Aquaman will open very big. I think Bumblebee opens slightly less big. And I think... Okay, hang on, because I've got tracking numbers here, and I disagree with these numbers. Okay. When the hell was this written? Was this like recent? Was this like in the last week? It was written about a week ago. Okay. Going by boxoffice.com, they have Mary Poppins Returns opening 3-day weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, at 36 million. They've got Aquaman at 69 million, which I think that one's about right. They've got Bumblebee at 21 million.
Oh, wow.
I don't agree with that. I think Bumblebee's going to open bigger than that. I think flip the Mary Poppins and Bumblebee numbers. I think Bumblebee opens over 30 and Mary Poppins close to 30. I think 28-ish. I think they've got this wrong. I think because Mary Poppins opens a couple days earlier, it's going to wind up having a bigger overall weekend maybe, but this is just charting Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I think they've got their numbers wrong here. Everything else I kind of agree with. Second act at 6 million. Welcome to Marwen, 4 million. Holmes and Watson, 12 million. I'm not going to argue with those numbers. What do they have overall here? Domestic total for... Yeah, see this? I have a problem with this. They think Bumblebee overall domestic, 100 million. I think it does better than that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They have Aquaman at 240 and Mary Poppins at 320. I think flip those. I think Mary Poppins does less. I think Mary Poppins does like the 240, 250 because it just kind of sticks. You know, it keeps doing kind of the same stuff every week. And Aquaman falls off. But the first like 2 weeks are going to be big. I don't like these numbers. We'll come back and revisit these, but they've got Aquaman, Mary Poppins, Bumblebee basically. And yeah. I've got it the other way around. I don't like these numbers. I don't. But, you know, again, what do I know? These people are professionals who completely blew how big Black Panther was going to be. So, you know, what did they know?
Yeah.
And then, like, looking at some of the longer range tracking numbers, you know, and I mean, this goes, I think this is like, was this like 2 months or something? And a lot of these are like just kind of guesses at this point. Lego Movie 2, $60 million weekend. I think that's a safe bet. Glass, 67 million opening weekend. I think that's high. I think closer to 50. Other than that, there's not much here really worth mentioning, you know, unless people are super stoked to see how A Dog's Way Home does at the box office. I don't know.
Yeah.
God, I had to watch that trailer 3 times the other day, and I had to focus on how bad the CGI Wildcat was every time, because it's one of those movies that, like, I'm gonna cry if I watch it. I know this, but that's part of why I'm not gonna watch it. It's also not gonna be a great movie.
Yeah.
But God, and I don't know what it's supposed to be, a cougar, I guess, or a puma or something. But, oh my God, it just looked awful. Have you seen that trailer?
I haven't, no, not that one.
Oh, I'm surprised. Did it not play before Wreck-It Ralph, or did you miss the trailers?
I missed the trailers, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it would have played before Wreck-It Ralph. Because that was the first time I saw it, and then I saw it before... Oh, I also saw The Grinch this week. That was the other one I saw.
Oh, how was that? Because we were going to go see that, because that's the Christmas one, and she was like, let's go see that for the kids. And I was like, you should go see Spider-Verse. They want to see Spider-Verse. They were saying Spider-Man. She was like, no, let's go see Wreck-It Ralph. I was like, all right.
I'll tell you what, Wreck-It Ralph was good. The Grinch was good, too. The Grinch was definitely good. It's a good retelling, and it's a good sort of like, here's some of the little things that they changed and tweaked, and it works. It's really good. I liked it. It's a good Dr. Seuss movie. I was very happy for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I was afraid it was going to be way too much, just like all the other things. All the other Grinch movies.
It is and it's not. It's what you'd hope it is. It's the same story, but they've tweaked, little things. Like, it's not a shot-for-shot remake of the Jim Carrey one or of the original one. But it's, they add some little character elements, and they mention a little of his backstory, and they change the Grinch just a little. And it works. Okay. It's not like a whole revamp of anything. It's just they give him more than just and he's the Grinch, therefore he is awful, the end. There's more to him than that.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's really good. It's definitely worth checking out. Especially if you have kids. It's a fantastic kids movie. Holy crap. But it's good. It's really good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, I'll eventually see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't one, it's not like Spider-Verse, where I don't know why we're still sitting here talking, catching the 11 o'clock show, get going, what's wrong with you? But I'm serious, man, the first chance you get, go see this movie. It is absolutely worth it. It's fantastic. Because the character elements are great. The way that everybody plays is tremendous. Every character in there is nobody is just like, oh, well, that character seemed unnecessary, or that character seemed flat, or that character had no... You remember everybody. I mean, you get that from the trailer. His dad could have just been, the cop, and that kind of could have been it. And in a lot of times when they're making a movie like this, that's what would happen. But, the scene of him on the horn with Miles outside of school, like that does set the tone for how they develop all the characters that they introduce. If they're like, here's this character that we're going to name, they're gonna have a story. They're gonna be interesting, and they're gonna be worth having had named. So it's tremendous. It really is good.
Yeah. I want to see it. I gotta see it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What else do we got here? Were there any trailers released?
Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Oh, yeah. I think that was the one we saw in the theater. The trailer that we saw had all the different monsters in it.
Oh man, like I'm so excited.
Oh yeah. I gotta see that.
Because this is what like a Godzilla movie is like without the cheese. Because the old ones were like, the world has kind of sort of ended in a way, and there are monsters, but we can't really be like dark and awful about it, right? Because these movies need to be fun, because Godzilla should smile. And like they just always seem to have that kind of just like unaware, not I was gonna say like unawareness, which is kind of right in a way, but and I get it, it's when these movies were made, what are you gonna do? But I think that now they've embraced it, but they're not like a slave to it. It's not like, oh my god, and everything's off. They're not like DC Dark, if that makes any sense. But I'm excited. I think it's gonna be awesome, and I loved seeing King Ghidorah get so much screen time, because oh my god, this is gonna be amazing.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to see it. Yeah, it looks freaking amazing. Do you think they'll tease Kong at the end?
I think they have to.
Oh yeah,
because that's next.
Oh yeah, that's got to be next to Godzilla and King Kong, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's got to be a part of it.
Oh yeah. But yeah, what else was here? Was there any more trailers?
I didn't see any other trailers.
Okay.
Did I miss anything? Like, not anything that really interested me. Anyway, nothing that stuck.
Oh yeah.
So.
Okay. Cool. We got some Doctor Strange news here?
Yeah. Scott Derrickson, who directed the first one, signed on to direct a sequel. So I think that's awesome. I want them to go. Sorry, I have to do this. I want this to be stranger. I want this to be a little more off the wall. I want this to be more mystical. I want to see more of that in the next one. And I want things. I want creatures. I want this to be like an established Doctor Strange who, I want this to be more like the more recent comic book run, where it's like, oh yeah, and just bizarre, random, bonkers crap is going on. Because it should be. We're dealing with we're dealing with like alternate dimensions here. So let's get a little kooky with it. This, Derrickson directed, what, I forget which horror franchise he was involved in, but so he could do it, for sure.
Oh yeah. I think it'll be good.
That's gonna bug me. What movie series did he do? Sinister. He did Sinister. That's right.
Yeah.
He could do it. So I'm all for it. Let's see it.
Oh yeah. What else we get? Oh, there was some new Joker stuff?
Yeah, they wrapped production. Filming is done. They tweeted it out. The announcement out with a photo that probably showed a scene in Arkham. So that's neat. Like, it was on the wall. It was just like a blank wall, but like they had really faded and chipped paint up in the corner of like of something about like don't leave patients unattended or something like that.
Oh yeah. Oh, Arkham, gotcha. Okay, yeah, I was looking at the picture earlier and I was like, what is that?
Yeah, it's the asylum, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that looks good. Oh yeah. Let's see here. What else we got? We got some Bird of Prey news.
Yeah, Chris Messina, who was in Sharp Objects on HBO, was cast as Victor Zsasz. So that'll be neat. Zsasz, to me, is a character that just like seems to get thrown away. And that bums me out because he's just such a ruthless lunatic. I think if they gave him room to grow, he could be really dangerous. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Oh, yeah. Looks good. What's Onward about?
Onward is Pixar's new film. It's about two brothers who live in what's basically a modern-day world, but there aren't any humans. It's basically like if Bright hadn't had humans. Magic was a thing back in the day, but it got really tough to do, so people stopped doing it, so nobody thinks magic's real anymore. So these two brothers are basically going on a quest to prove that magic still exists. It's going to be directed by Dan Scanlon, who did Monsters University. And he's been with Pixar for a while. He did some work on Toy Story 3. He directed one of the Cars shorts. So I'm excited about that, especially with this voice cast. Octavia Spencer, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and the two that I imagine are going to be the brothers in this, which I'm hoping for, because God, that chemistry is going to be awesome. Star-Lord and Spider-Man. So.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna be dope.
Shit, yeah, that's a fucking stacked cast.
And that's just what we know so far. It'll be interesting to see who else they get.
Oh yeah.
But good to see Pixar doing. People have been complaining a lot recently, like, oh, they're doing Incredibles 2 and Toy Story 4. Like, it's just sequels. It's all sequels. I'm like, first of all, Inside Out. So shut your mouth. And second of all, they've been good, so shut your mouth again. And third of all, here you go. Here's a new one. Shut your mouth again.
Oh, yeah. Oh. It's insane, man. Disney and Pixar, man, for the next year is just going to be stacked.
It's just,
yeah, it's absolutely insane.
It's all Disney all the time, and that's a bubble that's going to pop in the next decade. By 2030, this bubble will pop. And Disney will be fine. The stock will drop. The revenues will drop. Heads will roll. And they'll have to reorganize and reshuffle and start over again. But it'll be necessary because they're going to saturate the market with themselves. And it's going to take another 12 years, probably, but it's going to happen. Here's your long-range forecast. By 2030, Disney is going to have to revamp because there's too much Disney.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. They need to rein it back just a little bit, or they really should start really separating these divisions and making them feel like their own big giant studios.
Well, I think that they're starting to do that with Star Wars. I think that Solo was a kick in the head about that. So they.
No, that was so good. I love Solo.
I did too, but
I feel that got the backlash of The Last Jedi. Even though I love The Last Jedi.
Yeah, but we anyway. God, that was a year ago. Can you believe that? Like, that's already been a year. That's wild, isn't it? That the last.
Holy shit, that's crazy. It's been a year.
It's been a year since The Last Jedi, and that's what's nuts.
Yeah.
But anyway. But yeah, Solo. I think the problem with it was that it was a spin-off film, and like because Rogue One did not do fantastic, but it didn't have, it was in its own little bubble, and Solo wasn't so much, and it was a hard sell in a lot of respects, and it was a gamble that didn't work out. It was too much Star Wars too fast, and Disney, to their credit, did come out and say, you know what? We hear you. You are the authority. We're going to start giving you what you want. Have you noticed? Have you noticed how that's become a theme in the last year now?
Yeah, give the people what they want. Hey, they might spend some money.
It's amazing how often that happens, right? Like, hey, we want this thing. Okay, here's this other thing. Boo, we don't want that. Give us this thing we want. Okay, here's this other thing. Boo, we don't want that. Give us this thing we want. Okay,
here's that thing you want, but with the SoundCloud rapper as your favorite villain.
Man, Tony. Oh, God. Boo, we don't want that. Give us something we actually want. Okay, okay, you guys have been clamoring for Incredibles 2 for 14 years. Here you go. And it makes a buttload of money. Gee, whoever could have seen that coming?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. It's like, that's a cool idea. Make it a comic. Make it an animated video for DC. That would have been an awesome animated movie. That Suicide Squad stuff with a cool twist on the Joker. That's where you take risks like that. And if something sticks, it sticks. For example, the Batman Who Laughs, Scott Snyder's book that just came out last week.
Yeah.
Was so fucking good.
Yeah.
But they didn't make the Batman of the new DC universe the Joker.
Exactly. Like, that's,
By the way, real fast, quick tangent real fast. Do you know anything about the Metal Joker, the Batman Who Laughs?
Other than he has, a pack of Robins? No.
He is Batman of another universe who finally goes over the edge and kills the Joker.
Okay.
And the Joker releases a toxin thinking, hey, if you ever kill me and my heart stops beating, the Joker toxin will release and you'll become me. And that's what the Batman Who Laughs is. So he's that guy. He is whatever happens if Batman ever goes over the edge. And his new book is so fucking good.
Nice.
First issue, he kills the Joker. He just has no bullshit, goes in Arkham, kills the Joker. You realize it's not the Joker. It was someone Batman replaced with the Joker. But it's so fucking good. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Go read it. Go read it. Batman Who Laughs #1.
Will do.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt. Yeah.
But it's, that's what the DC animated films are for. Do wild stuff with that. I mean, that's how we get, Batman Ninja, or whatever the hell that was.
Oh, yeah.
And, that didn't really work. But, hey, they took a shot. They did something weird. Go for it. I would rather see them try and fail than just not try. And here's the thing. That's what Sony did with Spider-Verse. They took a gamble. There's a lot in that movie that if it goes wrong, the whole thing falls apart. But it doesn't go wrong. They took a big risk. They did. They took a bold shot. And it's going to pay off huge. Because it is a fantastic movie. And it's going to sell like crazy through Christmas. And it's going to sell, the home video for this is going to be bonkers. It's going to be nuts. But it's so good. It is absolutely so good.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Hell yeah. What else we got here?
In news that nobody knew was ever going to be a thing again, Legendary Entertainment has acquired the rights to The Toxic Avenger, of all things.
Well, there you go.
God almighty. When I said risks, this is not what I meant. This is so not where I was going with this. But okay, sure, why not? I mean, it was big in the 80s because toxic waste was a big thing, and I I don't think this character works anymore, but, what the hell? Why not? The creators are signed on to, like, co-executive produce whatever Legendary's gonna do with this, so more power to them, mazel tov.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll see. Hey, do Name of the Wind first.
Yeah, right, no kidding.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. So we got Dora the Explorer?
Yeah, this blew me away. I almost thought this was a joke at first, because they were like, hey, the villain, the little fox swiper? Yeah, gonna be voiced by Benicio del Toro. I legitimately thought it was a joke at first, because I thought, yeah, okay. Maybe in a Guillermo del Toro Dora the Explorer, we're gonna get, Benicio to do Swiper, because it's gonna be weird and bizarre and off the wall. No, this is legit what's going to happen. So, okay, I mean, sure. Again, why not, right?
Yeah, exactly. Why not?
Yeah, okay, sure, whatever.
Yeah. We got Sonic the Hedgehog.
Did you see this poster?
Yeah.
God,
yeah,
it looks awful.
Oh my god.
My problem with it wasn't even, but I do, to their credit, I love their response. Did you see the tweet they put out in response to everybody freaking out that, like, Sonic's legs are really buff?
Yeah, I saw. Well, it's weird where the camera would be sitting.
Yeah. But it's, yeah. I loved the kind of the clapback tweet. I really did. It showed they got the joke, but also were kind of like, just, shut up already.
Right.
So I was good with that. But yeah, that's a poster. All right. I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about this at all. But I don't know. We'll see. Give me a trailer. Give me something to actually see. Then we're good.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to see what he looks like. Obviously, he looks kind of weird. I like the way the Pokemon looked, but they didn't tease it like this. They didn't tease the outline of the characters. They just showed us, and it was like a jumping in the pool and getting like, okay, it's freezing for a second, but we're here. Now they're just doing it too long. But yeah. I don't know, man. People who play Sonic games like bad games. Why wouldn't they like bad movies? So who cares?
Well, come on. Let's be fair. They weren't all bad.
Maybe the first couple were.
Hey. You know what? Sonic Generations was actually pretty good. Sonic Adventure, during its time, was good. It has not aged well, but at its time, not so bad. Sonic Adventure 2 actually plays really well. It's not a great story, but it plays well. What was it, 2005 Sonic the Hedgehog game or whatever, whenever that was a pile of crap. That was awful. But, they've been hit and miss through the years. I still love Sonic Spinball, so I'm one to talk.
Yeah. Sonic Pinball. I like Pokemon Pinball.
Yeah, but, I mean, that was just straight up pinball. Sonic Spinball actually had a more interactive feel to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. You're right. What else we got? Let's go and jump into some TV.
Yeah, they did confirm that the next Arrowverse crossover will be Crisis on Infinite Earths. So I guess the Flash is gonna die.
Yeah.
Sorry, but the interesting thing though, it's slated for fall 2019, not winter 2019. So I think that's gonna be like the premiere. Like that's gonna be the season premieres for each show is gonna be this crossover.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Wait, so it's the premiere.
I think
starting with.
I think now it doesn't say that. It says fall 2019 though, so I'm thinking that it is. I think it's going to be the season premieres for the DCW shows.
Oh, gotcha. That's awesome. Like that's how you start a season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. So I don't even know. Are you watching any of the new stuff?
No, No, I do want to watch the Elseworlds crossover just because.
Yeah.
But
you can jump in. You totally understand the characters.
That's kind of what I figured. Like you don't, and I think I had seen that other places where it was like you don't have to be caught up to just watch this. So I was like, okay, yeah, then I'll give it a shot. Why not?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. We got what else we got? We got the Punisher.
Yeah, season 2 comes out next month.
Okay. Oh shit, that close?
Yeah, they just kind of dropped it on us. They were like, "Hey, by the way, Punisher season 2 coming in January."
Yeah.
Okay, well, hell, thanks for letting us know so we can enjoy the last season of the Punisher.
Yeah, it does suck. You think they'll kill him off?
Nah, I think he sticks around.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, he's not going to stick around, though. He's literally it's ending. So I actually would prefer if they killed him off.
I think that we see these actors playing these characters again down the road. I know it's not going to be for like a year because of the terms of the Netflix deal, but I think we see them again.
Okay. Well, where at?
I don't know. I think we get Daredevil in a movie at some point. Maybe not his own, but he definitely shows up in somebody's movie somewhere down the road. He has to. And I know he wants to. I know Charlie wants to do this so bad.
Yeah.
And I think maybe you can't get anybody else. Maybe nobody else has the big appeal. But, damn, do I think he can do it and carry his weight. He shows up in a movie, put him in a Spider-Man movie. Let that be a team up. Let it be a Spider-Man and Daredevil movie that you don't announce it that way. It's not titled Spider-Man and Daredevil, but it's whatever the next. It'd be time for the next Spider-Man film. 2 years from now. So, it's Spider-Man, whatever pun from home they want to do for this one. And have it be like towards the end of the trailer. Here's Spider-Man fighting, I don't care, pick a villain. And it's like, oh man, he's getting, he's kind of getting beat or he's getting surrounded by something. And then one of those sticks comes flying in and just pangs off of somebody's head and it bounces back to, and you can even have him like kind of in the shadows, like on a fire escape or something. So you don't really see him, but Spider-Man just looks up and goes, and I really want a line of like, and where the hell have you been? Just...
that would be great.
Like I'd be all right with that.
Yeah, that's what they should do. You're right. You're absolutely right. You just that's what they need to do. Oh yeah.
But I don't know. I do. I think we see some of the Netflix people again for sure in some way, shape, or form. I don't know. I think you could fold pretty much any of the other ones into their own thing. I think you can definitely do Heroes for Hire on the Disney Plus service. That's a given. Jessica Jones, I don't know. I don't know what to do with her because I think that her show is kind of the same reason that you can't do a Punisher show. It's too adult for that service.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know what you can do.
Yeah.
But again, better they have far better minds than me. So yeah. If there's something to figure out, they'll figure it out.
I mean, they can go way more detective.
They could make it more about the private eye stuff than about any of what else they've worked with. But I don't know. It can be done. It can absolutely be done. It's just a harder pitch. Daredevil's easy. Stick him in a Spider-Man movie. It works. Yeah. It totally works.
Oh yeah.
I mean, hell, do the Marvel Knights from the Ultimate Universe crossover where it was Iron Fist and Daredevil and Spider-Man all going after Fisk.
Yeah.
I think you can definitely work in Jessica Jones that way. I mean, it was the Defenders as we saw them more or less, plus Doctor Strange, plus Spider-Man, all going after Fisk. I'm like, that's
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was a weird, and that, oh man.
Even Doctor Strange was in that one.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think if you or just do a Marvel Knights series on Disney Plus.
Yeah, exactly. Just put them all in one show.
Yeah, I think that could work. You know, that could be what the Defenders should have been.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Give me 12 episodes of that, and just hype the hell out of it. You know, and
there were so many extra Marvel things.
Yeah.
Like in the Ultimate Universe, I mean. Yeah.
But, you know, they have all that stuff to play with. Incorporate elements of this, blend it with elements of that, do a piece of this, do some of that. You know, it'll work. Totally work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What else we got here?
The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is going to split 16 episodes between Part 3 and Part 4. Because we know Part 2 comes out in April, and I don't know if they announced how many episodes it's going to be, but it comes out April. And then in 2019, they're going to work on production of Part 3 and Part 4. So it's going to be interesting to see, like, does this come out every year, or are they going to do like they did this year of like one in October and then one, 6 months later? Are they going to do this every 6 months? I mean, that was some pretty wild turnaround, really. Oh
yeah, absolutely. That's insane. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they had the show, then they had the Christmas special, then they had this. I wish they did that with the Daredevil.
Bigger scope, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
Because to be fair, Sabrina's shot on, you know, the set pieces are fairly small considering, and then the locations they do are, you know, woods. So it's not like Daredevil where it's like, and we have to shut down pieces of whichever big city they film it in, because I don't know if it's all done in New York or if they do a ton of it in Toronto like they do everything else that wants to pretend to be New York. Or if they do it in Atlanta. They may do all of that stuff in Atlanta.
Cool. What other TV news we got?
They officially announced the cast of The Mandalorian, and there were a couple in here that I don't think that I knew offhand. You know, we knew Pedro Pascal is going to be the Mandalorian. We knew Gina Carano was going to be in it. I think they had already kind of leaked that Giancarlo Esposito was going to be there. Emily Swallow is going to be there. Carl Weathers is going to be in it, which I thought was fantastic. Omid Abtahi is going to be there. Werner Herzog is going to be in this thing. And Nick freaking Nolte. God. I don't know if that's come out before and we've talked about it before or not. I don't care because it still blows my mind that Nick Nolte is going to be in Star Wars.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, it did. I know it did because we talked about the mugshots.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't care. It's still just like, oh my god, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wild, man. Totally wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. I can't wait for this shit. When does it come out?
I don't know. Next year or sometime. The Disney Plus service is still like a year out almost. It's like It's like fall next year, I think.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I can't wait for that fucking come out, man. Ooh, holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What's I see there's some Funimation news. I saw that they got rid of Dragon Ball, right? Now they got a deal.
Wait, what now?
Well, Funimation, yeah, they apparently Dragon Ball left.
I didn't know this.
They're going to Hulu or something like that. Sony owns Funimation. No, hold on. I'm sorry. Let's back up a second. They left Crunchyroll.
That's right. Yes, I was gonna say when you were like Dragon Ball left Funimation, I was like, hold on, what? No, yeah, they left Crunchyroll and they're going to Hulu. Yeah, I think we talked about that last week.
Yeah.
But this week they got salty about Netflix getting Evangelion. The CEO at Funimation, Gen Fukunaga, said that first of all they said Netflix overpaid for the rights to Evangelion, which is a bit of a slap to Evangelion. But his whole point was like, you know, Netflix just buys up stuff and dumps it on their service, and I don't think that that's entirely true. I think there is a kernel of truth to that. but I think that he went a little too far with this. He also said that when they, he was kind of pressed about like keeping Evangelion at, as a brand that's worth something, because I mean it's been around, it's over, it's been over forever, but it's still a big deal. He said, I'm 100% sure that we'd have done a much better job when talking about keeping it relevant. And I think he's totally wrong about that, because when Netflix tweeted that they were going to be the first streaming service to have Evangelion, that tweet was huge.
Yeah.
That announcement was huge. And they're not stupid. They know what they have. That's why they paid so much for it.
Gotcha.
They're not dumb. And I think Netflix is also trying to build, because that's been one category where they've just not been solid, is anime.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've seen what they're doing, with everything that they're buying and everything that they're developing, and even some of the live action versions of stuff. They're getting into this game. So, I don't know. Like I said, I think Funimation was just being a little salty about this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Speaking of Netflix, they also released the first pictures for their Dark Crystal.
It looks just like Dark Crystal.
It does, which is exactly what everybody wanted.
Yeah.
And that's why people were like, oh, okay, well, I'll watch this now. Because I think they were worried it was going to be, like, modernized or something. And Netflix was just like, hey, you know how everything looked in the 80s? It looks the same. Which is exactly as it should be. It's Muppets. And it shouldn't have been changed. And it wasn't changed. Which is so much more to my point of, like, Netflix knows what they're doing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's when you see that, you're like, oh shit, that looks like they did a sequel almost a year after the thing was made.
Yeah.
But like modern day tech, that's how you do it. You give the people what they want.
Yeah.
We're the authority. Should be the title of the episode. Yeah.
Unlike AT&T, who have no idea how to do a streaming service, did you see the ridiculousness that they announced about the Warner Brothers service that they're working on?
No.
This is bonkers. Okay, real quick. It's going to be 3 tiers. Tier 1 is what they're saying, and these are all the details that we have. We don't have price or date or any of this. Tier 1 is going to be a quote-unquote entry-level movie-focused package.
Oh.
Okay.
What?
Tier 2 is going to be a quote-unquote premium service with original programming and blockbuster movies. Tier 3, of course, as you would imagine, includes everything from Tier 1 and 2, plus an extensive library of Warner Media and licensed content. It's like, imagine if Netflix did this, it would be, here's Tier 1, the Netflix original movies. Here's Tier 2, the Netflix original movies, plus some of the Netflix, like the new Netflix TV shows. Tier 3 is everything from Tier 1 and 2, plus things like The Office and Friends and everything they've bought the rights to. That's what this sounds like to me, and this is the dumbest thing I have ever heard.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid.
It's ridiculous. It really sounds completely backwards. And I am just so not in favor of this at all.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I agree. I completely agree.
But, AT&T's shown they don't understand streaming, because when they came in and talked to the HBO people and said, yeah, we need you to make more stuff faster.
Yeah.
And HBO said, but what we make is really good. And they were like, yeah, but you don't make it fast enough. Well, then it won't be as good. Yeah, we need quantity, so make more stuff faster.
Yeah.
So, let's just drop AT&T off a cliff and get on with it. Like, I'm done, man. I hate this crap.
Yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right. Did you see Spectrum lost a lawsuit?
Oh, is this the thing in New York?
Yeah. Apparently, if you live in New York and you have Spectrum, you get like $150.
Because they got kicked out of New York for a while. This has been a whole big thing. Like, I followed this a little bit off and on. It's been a whole big thing. Like, Spectrum in New York have been going at this for, like, a year or more, as far as I know. Like, in the courts, because, like, they got kicked out of New York because they weren't... I forget if it was something to do with rates or it was, I think it was something about...
So they were lying about the speed. So they were saying, hey, if you upgrade, you'll get this speed. So a bunch of people upgraded, and they didn't like, actually give them the right speed.
Is that... Well, I think that's this new lawsuit.
Oh, okay.
I think what happened before was, like, with the local channels. I think it was, like, New York, like, the New York local stuff, and Spectrum didn't play nice together. And because it's New York, you don't argue with things that are based in New York, because they don't care about what you think. So they just said, all right, fine, then get out. And that, it's been a whole big thing. It's been fascinating, but it's a whole big thing. I'll do more research into that. I'll talk about that more next week, because that's
crazy.
Oh, it's been nuts. Because when I first saw, like, Spectrum booted out of New York, I was like, what? They can do that?
We've done enough. I wish we had more giant cable companies that could be like, nope, you're out. Let's bring in someone with better customer service and better products. And
please, Verizon, come to Statesville. I really hate having Spectrum.
Yeah.
Our rates went up for, like, the second time in less than 6 months after we were given, like, the whole, like, your rates won't go up for a year, we honestly promise, but they raised them on everybody. So, hey, everybody's rates went up, so we broke our promise to everybody, which means that's fair, was basically their line of it. I'll never forget the guy from customer service actually said to me, that's the cost of doing business. That was the exact phrase he used. I said, yeah, but these prices, because I told him, I'm like, these prices went up, and we were told unless it was taxes, which it wasn't, it wouldn't go up, it wouldn't change. And he says to me, well, that's the cost of doing business. Actually said those words to me, and I was like, that's your customer service people. Wow. Just wow. I am ashamed to live in a state where the big thing in Charlotte is called the Spectrum Center. I am ashamed of that.
Wow.
Like that, but I was like, wow, I am campaigning, I'm begging, because they have Google Fiber in Charlotte, and that's why Spectrum has had to kick up speeds in North Carolina, because, Google Fiber. But I'm like, Verizon, come in here. I miss Verizon. Man, I had Verizon in Florida, and I loved it. I loved Fios. But, please get Spectrum out of here. Or give them some real competition, because AT&T has their, whatever their crap is, and it's awful. The people in Statesville that have it absolutely hate it, but it's cheaper than Spectrum, so they deal with it. Yeah,
you're right.
That's how bad it. Like, oh, it's awful. But they're like, but it's not Spectrum, so we're keeping it. Like, wow, okay.
That's crazy. I can't believe Jesus. And AT&T, man, I just fucking these tier bundles and shit. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, well, I think that'll do it for the show. We've talked about TLC and whatnot. We talked about the movies we've seen. We'll be back next week. I'm sure we'll try to work around, because I think next week this falls around like New Year's Eve or Christmas Eve. So we'll probably try and catch a recordings probably sometime between Christmas and New Year's, I'm thinking.
Yeah, probably.
I'm going to be working pretty much, but we'll just try and find some time. We'll keep you updated on the website. But yeah, go to our Facebook, We Geek Podcast, YouTube, We Geek Podcast, Twitter at We Geek Podcast, at The Logan Witt, at Adam Estep. Shoot us an email. Make sure you give us a review on the Apple Podcast and the Google Podcast. And you guys, have a crazy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate. Happy Hanukkah's past, I believe. Whatever you celebrate this time of year. It seems like there's a whole bunch of different holidays, and if you don't celebrate, have fun with your friends and family. That's what it's all about, right? At the end of the day, just get together with your family and your loved ones, and hopefully we brought some joy to you talking on this. But we'll be back next week. All right,
here, Captain.